Hello. Welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 374. This is your host, Shaun Tutor. 375. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a tutor-ish episode.
Tutor-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. All right, dude. So here's the deal, right? I told a few realtors, like, hey, and I told some, I'm looking for multifamily lots, right?
Mm-hmm.
To build like a fourplex on. And like, okay, cool. Don't hear anything, right? Like, no, there's apparently nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, I never just went on the MLS and just looked. And I was just on there. I found 4 multifamily lots.
Mm-hmm. Are they worth it though?
The price makes sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just don't know. My only thing is I'm like, okay, why did none of them just not even look?
Right. Like, that's weird. Like, why wouldn't they at least send you those?
Right. Or, like, does it actually not qualify? Is there actually another reason? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Yeah, is there a reason? So,
interesting.
Anyways, I saved it. I sent it to Nick Semling and was like, am I not understanding this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Can I build on it? So, because he'll tell me if I can build on it. He'll tell me how much it'll cost for me to build on it, and then I'll build on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, kind of cool. I thought it was kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Because I want to build.
I can tell.
I got it.
It's like February, and you're already like...
Itch I got a fucking scratch,
yeah.
dude. If Nick tells me it's a good deal, I'm gonna buy all 4 lots.
Okay.
Fuck it, dude.
Cool.
But I have a feeling there's something wrong. Otherwise, why wouldn't they be sold? Because anyone would have bought it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So that's why I'm like, something feels weird.
Yeah.
About it. Otherwise, it would have sold.
What were we just listening to though about how the need for housing is going to go down drastically shortly? Are we just listening to something?
Yeah, and I could see that, but I don't. I think in our area, a need for high-end housing is, and we've even talked to people who've built some high-end houses. Not high-end houses. I'm sorry. High-end apartment buildings that are high rent. For our area, rent's $2,400 plus in our area. And if our area, that's high for Eau Claire.
Oh, very high.
So I've talked to people who said like they know builders who are struggling filling those units for that price. But the thing is, what I would build is 2-bed, 1.5 baths with a 1-stall garage.
So like things that are like 1,500 or whatever.
Not even.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, around $1,250 probably.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Otherwise, I would be down to build a couple nice duplexes, and do, because you have to think, do you remember going and looking at those properties south side of Eau Claire with me, Ryan, Dan? Did you look at those with us? There was a bunch of 4 units. We looked at them to live in.
Yeah.
And then we looked at the couple houses, and or a couple duplexes, and they were getting, at the time, so this is years ago, 4-bed, 2-bath. They were getting 4-bed, 2.5 bath. 4-bed, 2.5 bath duplexes, single story, but with a basement. And they were getting $1,700 a unit at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now those units bring you $2,000 minimum up to like $2,500.
Yeah. So
if it made sense to build, because you have to think about it then, if you're building a duplex like that, 4-bed, 2.5 bath on each side, and you're getting $4,000 in rent or $4,500 in rent, I mean, you were getting $5,000 to build a full 4 unit. Right. So like, tell me that doesn't make more sense to build that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, but the other hand is like, it's easy to rent out the 2-bed, 1.5 baths on slab. It's so easy to rent that out for I mean, $1,100 to $1,250. It's so easy to rent that out.
Yeah.
And so if you have to get a family who's going to live somewhere forever to get them to rent, $2,000 to $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
So it's quite a bit different market.
Very different market, I would say.
But I mean, when we toured those houses, those people were there for life.
Yeah.
Those duplexes. And so it's like, you might take a little bit longer. Maybe it takes you a few months to rent it out or whatever. But when you get the right tenant in there, the right family, in theory, they're there for 20 plus.
Oh, for sure.
So anyways, that's kind of some of the, I just want to build. I want to build, and that is what it is. So
we'll see how long our guest star is going to make it.
yeah, Lily's not too happy. She wants to keep eating.
Yeah.
She chunky pie.
She's getting chunky.
Chunky pie. Okay, so that's building. That's lots. I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Be very interesting.
Damn, dude, I want to fucking build. All right. I'm sorry, dude.
Okay, time for the main thing that we were going to talk about.
For the main event. So we are going to, as we said on Friday, recap Rei-Con.
Yes.
Rei-Con's done.
It is done.
It's over.
Thank God.
We made it through.
Yes.
Another year in the books. Checked off. When I was there last night, or yesterday when I was there just running around, in my brain I was like, it was not a fucking year ago I was doing this.
But it was.
It was, dude. I seriously was like, being there, I felt like I was just there in that same thing, doing that same thing like months. Not like, it did not feel long at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, doing that, I was like, this is fucked up.
Well, think about it. Like, it doesn't feel like I carried this tiny human being for 9 months.
No,
Almost.
Definitely not.
10 months? Whatever.
10 months. Yeah. It's fucking, dude, this shit is so bonkers to me. Mm-hmm. That the time, but anyways,
still not the main topic.
nothing like that. We ended up having a pretty good turnout for VIP.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had around 12 attendees.
Yeah.
So that was good. Goal was 20. Last year we had 15.
Mm-hmm.
But this year we had pretty much a full, a complete different array of people.
Yeah.
Which was really awesome. I think we had two of the same people there this year.
No? Who?
Alyssa and Andrew.
Oh, yeah. I don't think Alyssa was there last year.
Alyssa was there last year.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then Andrew was there.
Yeah.
So one professional, one attendee.
Yeah.
Who's also a professional. But yeah, so it was cool in that realm that like it was a complete different group. Besides me, you and AJ, of course.
Yeah.
But and this year we got lava cake, and that was a hit.
Mm-hmm. That was our main complaint from last year, was that there was no dessert. And then all the people that complained about it didn't even go.
So David, who we spoke last year,
yeah,
he messaged me because I posted like VIP night or whatever's tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He messaged me. He said, "Hopefully you get dessert." LOL. I'm like, you motherfucker, dude.
Were you like, I made sure there was dessert?
I
this
told
time.
him it was lava cake. Oh,
that's funny. But that went really well.
VIP went well, and we got some good feedback from the professionals and stuff. They really liked what we were doing, bringing people together.
Yeah, my main thing was I'd either want to have dinner a little earlier or a little later.
So, but that I talked to Kyle and Luke about that when we left. You're absolutely right. But remember last year, we ate at 6:30 and we were all back up networking by 7:30. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The whole group got up and started networking again. And I told Kyle and Luke that because they weren't there last year. I said, this was such a completely different group. Like we just sat at our tables and chatted. That did not happen last year. But knowing that is an option, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that is something that happens, I'd almost have hors d'oeuvres come out right away, a little bit of hors d'oeuvres or something. See if there's something they can pass around.
Oh, like at like 5,
Yeah,
5:30?
Yep. Hors d'oeuvres at like 5:30, whatever. Then food at like 7:30.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I think would be the better option. So, or eat same time, 6:30, whatever, but then have it where everyone gets up and starts like networking again or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose, I mean, you, me, and AJ should have gotten up and like just gone and started talking to people.
Yeah, exactly.
At the tables and whatnot.
Well, but even then, so like that's what I thought. That's why I got up to go to the bathroom, came back, and I stood at that table with AJ.
Oh yeah, and then there's
Jairus came over.
Yeah.
And Andrew came over.
But
and
that was it.
That was it, dude. It was and so after we stood there for like a half hour, I was like, this is like no one else got up. Like that was my whole idea behind it, was if we were up, they would get up.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't the case. No one else got up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people liked
Their table
this year.
They did. They really did. They really did. And they didn't want to get up.
Yeah, and I think if we actually had the 20 people, I think then probably there would have been more of a chance.
Sure, that makes sense.
To mingle.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to think there was the one big table and then the other table, and then it was just basically me, you, AJ,
Luke, Kyle, Mike.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. We just got Mike fucking to ourselves for an hour, which was sweet.
Which that worked out really well that we had a speaker at each table, actually.
It did. You're so right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like so interesting, like how we plan something the exact same, but when you have different people, it can just go completely different.
Absolutely. And a lot of like that group of people we had, no one really drank. No one really, there's drinkers. So,
they all, I think, had their 2 free drinks, and then that was it.
I don't even know, because I got the bill, and a lot of people didn't even get their 2 free drinks.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, people were like, it. I wouldn't say a lot. I would say there was probably a quarter of them that didn't get their free drinks.
Wow.
Yep. So yeah, it was kind of interesting that it is the people, and then so the VIP night went well. We got some good feedback about that, and honestly, it's my favorite part.
The VIP night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get your food, you're hanging out, you're networking, you're chatting, and I love it so much because I get to meet and converse with these people that we brought in that I don't know. You know, we bring these speakers in, and 2 of them I didn't even know. One of them I'd only met one time. Yeah. And so bringing them in was really nice, because then you get 4 hours to spend a little time chatting with them, getting to know them, little stuff like that. So, super cool. Mm-hmm. And then, let me see here. Bing.
Me and Lily were able to make it.
Yeah, Sam and Lily made it the whole time.
Yeah, we did. She was really good.
We had Nanny AJ for a bit.
Yeah.
Holding down the fort while Sam ate, which was nice.
Mm-hmm. But she slept for most of it. She ate a bottle for 30 minutes. I burped her and passed out again.
Yep.
And then she wailed on the way home.
Yep.
Because she was hungry.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame her.
No.
But yeah, so she did really well.
Next day.
Yeah, Saturday.
Full day event. Rei-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Rei-Con. It was cool. It was good. It flowed well. Started out the event. It was snowing. It was a pretty good snowstorm. I think we had 10 to 15 attendees missing. Is that correct?
I don't think so, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I think, I don't know. I'll have to look, actually.
I know 8 offhand that were not there.
That actually bought tickets?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So I don't know if there's more than that or not. Damn. Okay. So yeah, it's too bad or whatever, but is what it is.
Mm-hmm. I will say I do like the smaller, like, because we only had 40, 50 attendees, and that was really nice because like check-in was just so easy and quick.
Yeah, I think there was 42 attendees.
Yeah. So it was like super nice because then, you know, you could just, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk to people. And then, like, you could just, like, hang out and chat. And then, like, you could just, like, talk we just were able to check them in quick. If there were people we knew, we got to like chat with them for a little bit because there wasn't like a long line
Right.
of people trying to check in.
Yeah.
Except for right at 9:00 when, actually it was 9:03 when the big wave of last minute people came in.
Yep. So yeah, we got rolling about 10 minutes late because of that, which is okay. We cut our intro a little short, so that way we were starting the first speaker, Greg, only 5 minutes late.
It's not bad.
No. And I did a Q&A with him, which was fun. Never done that before. So it was fun to be able to do that and, kind of do an interview style on stage with him. So that was fun. And then
What was your big takeaway from Greg?
big takeaway from Greg. So I asked him what are the 3 most important things for his success. Number 1 was family. Number 2 was team. Shit. There's a third one that was important. Believe it or not. I'm going to have to come back to it. Family, team.
It wasn't like discipline or dedication or...
Shit.
Slacking over here.
Slacking. No. Okay. So the biggest thing though that I took away from Greg, it's not even a takeaway because I know it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like leading by example.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you lead by example? You have to live by personal standards. So he's got like a list of his personal standards, his why. And that I've never made that, right? So that's like something that I made we got the vision, we got that stuff. We have like the goal of where we're going, but we don't have essentially our like brand book, your personal standards. We don't have that kind of like figure it out. So he does. And I would say that's the biggest takeaway is that.
That's like one thing I want to do like while on maternity leave is expand our board that's out there.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of things are missing from there.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit missing.
Yeah. I don't know where it went.
I don't know either. I know we pulled like 2, I pulled 2 things down, but I feel like there was more.
Yeah.
But so the whole part about it, or the thing that I liked is it's easy to say yes to shiny objects, or to do the wrong thing, or to slack, or to be lazy, to sleep in, whatever, if you don't have your personal like standards laid out, right? If you have those and you know where you're going, it's easy to like swerve away and stay out at like an opportunity, a shiny object comes, you immediately can go, does this work with my plan? No, keep going, get rid of it. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I had a long night, so I slept in. And it's like, but if you knew why you were getting up, then you would have gotten up.
Right.
You know? Or you would have worked harder to get to bed earlier. So it's things like that.
Or you just, wake up at the same time and just accept that one day you're going to be more tired than the rest.
100%. Wes Watson talks about that all the time. But so that's why I would say the biggest thing I took from Greg was like, you have, like, in order to lead by example, you have to do all the things right. How do you do all the things right? You live by your personal standards, your personal, like, because he talks, he has like company brand standards, and then he has personal brand standards. And so he operates the company based on brand standards, but he lives by his personal standards. So yeah, that's what I took away from Greg.
That's cool.
It was really good. It was really fun. And the number one thing, no, that's not true. The like one of the top 5 reasons of hosting an event is I get the videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to rewatch that interview.
Yeah.
I get to rewatch all the speakers.
That's cool.
That
is really cool.
Is a perk of putting on events.
Yep. So we had Greg.
We had Greg, then we had a little break.
Mm-hmm.
Then we brought Mike Halloween on. And that was cool.
Yeah.
I like Mike. We got some good feedback. So Mike is too smart for most people.
Mm-hmm. Which we always have one. We always have one speaker that seems to be too smart for everyone.
Well, we had to put him first last year.
Mm-hmm. And that did not go well.
That was not smart. And we didn't want that. We did not want that. Because we originally had smart for number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Mike's smart. He's really smart. And we got good feedback from the group that, hey, we know you're going to have one. So that's the best place you can put them.
Yeah.
After the event's rolling, and do not do it after lunch because people are too tired or like whatever after lunch. So in second place, which is where Mike was, that was the perfect spot to have him. And he did not go deep at all for him. For him, he went very surface level.
Yeah.
For everyone in the room, he was still, I would say everyone in the room besides maybe the other speakers and 3 people in the audience, he was too deep. But I fucking loved it, dude. And it's such a beautiful what
was your biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway from Mike is the deal worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Is the return worth it? And live by facts, not by feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Mike knows what feelings are.
No.
Besides being anxious for his talk yesterday, he doesn't know what I would say in real estate. So actually, let me put it this way. Forget the feelings things. This is how it goes. I used to teach a course called CPI, Crisis Prevention Intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there was this scale, and it was a risk scale, and it was on 2 axes. One you had likelihood, one you had severity, right?
Right.
So what's the likelihood of something happening? What's the severity of it happening, right? Okay. And then you can figure out if something's low risk, medium risk, high risk, okay? Boom. Mike is so smart that he can calculate his risk and know right off the bat if he needs to be concerned about something. So he can go and he will factor what his risk is, location, tenant type, building age. He builds out his risk. So like what needs to be done for CapEx, what needs to be done for maintenance. He figures out his risk, and his risk is a percentage, is a number. Okay? Then he brings in his calculation for return. Mm-hmm. And he levers that return. So what that means is he factors that return based on an 8%, based on what he could have, what his opportunity could be if he used that equity, if he used that money, into the S&P at the 8% return, which is what the S&P usually returns, 8%. So he brings levered in based on risk to determine if you should invest in a piece of real estate. And he also has a bunch of other charts and stuff. But that one right there is so big because, sure, yes, you get your debt pay down. Yes, you get your appreciation. Yes, you get your tax benefits. Thank you. I know you don't have to keep telling me that. I got it. But what he's saying, he lives in the world of return on equity. And a lot of the people he's working with have already paid off properties or have a very high debt to equity ratio. Mm-hmm. Or very high equity to debt ratio. So he's like, what what is your return on your equity? Is it better than 8%? So not only should it be better than 8%, it should be like it should be like 16%, because you should be getting an 8% on top of what you could be doing with that money at 8%, if you're going to then take the risk that he has. And so, like, based on how much that risk is, we'll base if it's worth getting, 2 to 3% above the risk, above the S&P, 2 to 3% above the S&P, or if you need 20% above the S&P. So then you're getting a 28% return, because you look at your risk. And it makes so much sense, because real estate is a job. You know what I'm saying? It's a business. And I think JT talked about it being a business.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. But like, you've got so many things that you're going to have to deal with. You kind of need to factor in that risk and then just base the return off that risk. And that way you can go into deals and make deals happen. And then it's not like emotional and shit. So then, like, if he buys that place and the roof's shitty in a year, he knows. He's like, yeah, whatever, dude, I figured. So then you're not getting upset and whatever. Like,
right, yeah.
Was this deal worth it? Oh my God. Da, da, da. No, up front, you factored in, hey, I'm going to fucking need a roof in the first 5 years. So when it comes, you're like, yeah, whatever. I knew that was going to happen.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I took away from him. And we don't do that enough with real estate. Most of us are just trying to get a deal, which is good, right? But I know so many people that get deals, stick their fucking life's time into deals to try and break even or to try and make $1 or something. I'm like,
right, yeah.
You just worked for $3 an hour this past year,
yeah.
you know? So yeah, that's what I really liked what he had to say. And I know the argument because I had multiple people bring the argument up to me. Well, you got your appreciation, you got your debt pay down, you got your tax benefits, you got your cash flow and all. I'm like, yes, no, thank you, I get it. But you also have to manage it.
Yeah.
You also have risk. How risky is the S&P 500? Not very risky.
Yeah, no.
So, and like they said, the S&P 500 isn't going to flood.
No.
The S&P 500 ain't burning down.
You don't have to try and figure out who's the best tenants to put into your S&P 500.
You don't have to manage a property management company.
No.
You don't have to worry about insurance rates going up a bunch.
Nope.
So anyways, that's what I loved about it. I love that. And I hope people took that. I hope people understood that message from him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish I would have. Well, I'll watch him later, I guess. I was busy with little ones, so I did not get to hear the first two.
Yeah. I fucking love Mike so much, dude.
He's cool.
I love him.
He's really cool. So we did that, and then we had lunch. We did a taco bar this year, which was probably the best decision we could have made.
Taco. Dude, I'm going to tell you what I learned at this event. When I am eventing, I move pretty fast.
Yeah.
I do not overeat.
Nope.
I just little snacks. I wanted to keep eating, but I was like, nah, dude, I got shit to do. I got to be on fire.
Yeah.
More coffee. Let's go.
You were ripping the coffee.
I fucking love hosting an event. I love the day of the event. Could you tell?
That you love the day of the event?
Yeah.
Dude, Shaun, when Shaun's at these things, it's like he's on crack.
They ain't fucking nothing better, dude.
He's so fucking jazzed. Just running around, talking to as many people as he can. Just the happiest man alive. Happiest.
There ain't much better, dude. Honestly, there's not much in my life more enjoyable than that. Spinning bars with Hazy comes pretty close.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then trailing pretty far behind is hanging out with you girls.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're just not even on the list because we're just so much of a priority. But yeah, no, Shaun just thrives, which is just, it's so much fun to watch. Which, I mean, we already know what we want to do in the future for another one. Who knows if it'll be, what kind of event it'll be, but I think you'll probably enjoy the lead up more with the things that like we've discussed.
I've already got a few other ideas too.
Of course you do.
I've been thinking.
Yep.
So I've been thinking.
So then after lunch we did breakout sessions.
Breakout sessions. Fuck, did we get good feedback on that?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? I think most people liked it.
Yeah. I thought it was a good way to keep people more engaged after lunch.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we know it. We've gone to events, and I feel so bad for whoever the fucking speaker is after lunch. Because it does not matter. You're going to want to fall asleep.
Yep. You can't... hosting, I will never put another speaker after lunch again.
Yeah.
If I host events, I will never do it again.
Yeah, I think like, and that's why we decided to do the breakout sessions was, one, we didn't want to have 5 speakers.
Yep.
Because everyone last year said that was way too many.
Way too much, dude. Even by the time we got to JT, people had fucking overload in their brain.
Yep. And so, was it me that came up with the breakout sessions? Or
yeah,
us?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, we just thought
it might have been you. Yeah.
We just thought it would be a good way for people to just, one, get to kind of hang out with the speakers more. The speakers can go like on a different trail of what they're discussing. And I thought it would be a good way for people to ask like any questions that they didn't want to ask in front of a giant
Absolutely.
thing.
Yep.
Because I know how I am. Like, if I have a burning question, I'm not going to ask it
Right.
in front of 40 people.
Right.
So that's kind of like why I thought about it was going to be such a good thing. And we didn't really know how we wanted them to go. If we wanted, like, the leaders to just kind of go off on their topic. I kind of thought it might be more like the hot seat kind of thing.
Sure.
Where like people could ask their questions, or like the speaker could kind of go off of like some things, or like discuss some things and be like, okay, like what is your profession and how do you think you can market it better?
Right.
And so like to make people think right then and there, and then they can get direct feedback right away.
Yep.
So that was like kind of the cool thing about this whole idea, was that it could go any way.
Right.
That the leader wanted it
And
to
you
go.
want to know what, dude? I have no idea how the other groups went.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to some people in the other groups and see how theirs went.
Mm-hmm.
Because I chose to lead one and do a group on flipping.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had like 40 minutes, I think. Right? I think we had 40 minutes.
Yeah, 40, 45, yeah.
And that fucking gone.
Yeah.
It went so fast, dude. Of like everything, that went the fastest. I was like, holy man. So we were just talking about it. I look at my clock and I was like,
And we could very easily make that like an hour.
Right.
I did have some feedback. Some people said like it would have been nice to have be able to like switch groups.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean we could always do an hour and then have like 2 30-minute sessions.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did. I know what you're saying. What I did like about what we did though is like we had 5 groups, 8 people per group.
Mm-hmm.
We put it out. We announced it. Hey, go sign up for the group you want. 8 people per. Boom. Went, signed up. And that way it's like, if you were on your shit and went and signed up right away, you get to be a part of the group you want to be a part of.
Ooh, next year I do think we should have, like, if we do the breakout sessions again, obviously have the topics probably chosen out ahead of time.
That would have been smart.
But then we could bring them to VIP night, so the VIPs can sign up on theirs first.
Ah, smart. Very smart.
Because that was a feedback we got last year, was someone mentioned how that VIPs should have gotten something a little extra
You're right.
on Saturday. So like they mentioned having like a table near the front, but I didn't think that was like a good enough thing for VIPs to have. But I do think that would be like a bonus for VIP night. Like, oh, you get to sign up for your breakout session before everyone else.
Right.
Maybe even next year we could give them like a cool notebook or something. Like they get something really cool. But yeah, just an idea of how to make that better.
I like it. Perfect. Cool.
Anything else on breakout sessions?
No, they were a lot of fun. And yeah, it was great to have. It was great to do that after lunch because people were, jazzed after that.
Yeah.
Like they didn't want to stop. We had to be like, shut the fuck up so we can like start this thing again.
Was 8 people like a good number?
I think 8 was really good. And it was nice because at least this is how I ran my group. I went around and I was like, you get 30 seconds. Tell me your experience with flipping. So I got all the way around. And then I was like, where do you want me to start? What do you want? Like, what do you guys want to start with? And someone was like, give us the 3, or like, I gave like my background. And then I was like, I can touch on like label like 5 things I could touch on. I was like, what do you want? And then they were like, start here. And then we just.
That's cool.
So then I started, and then as I started, people would just ask questions. And it pretty much, we wrapped around the whole like 5 the 5 things that I said like we could touch on. We ended up getting there just by like people bouncing questions and then leading into the next. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good, pretty interactive.
Mm-hmm. So then after that we had Jen Green.
Yep.
What'd you think of Jen?
Jen.
I showed up late, so I missed I think the first like 20 minutes.
First one, yeah. Jen was pretty great. She is very, let me see here. She makes her speaking relatable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like everyone can relate to this. So that part is really awesome. Like, hey, you can relate and stuff. Her message was good. It's essentially her message was like, hey, target attorneys, which what I thought it was going to be was like, find your niche and hone in on your niche based on relationships.
Yeah.
And that was the one, like, there were 2 things that like threw me off with that because the lead up, right, was like going through the things, talking about the things.
What are the things?
Oh, sorry. Going through like her background.
Okay.
Right? And then how she did all the normal marketing stuff.
Okay.
Your cold calling, your door knocking, your letters, whatever, and the emails. And she just went through like, blah, blah, blah. These are like the email responses she had, which were like, none of them were good, which made her like not want to keep doing real estate, right? And then, so I was like, yeah, people can relate. We know what you're saying. We got it. This is cool. Then she talks about branding. So like making your own brand. And I was like, okay, awesome. Love it. Make your own brand. Got it. That's going to be helpful because if you make your own brand and you do that right, like you become, it's essentially what we're trying to do, or like what we're building to do. We want to be the standard in the area for like flipping. Like we want to be the standard. We want to be known for quality flips, right?
Right.
Essentially. And we want to, like, if a realtor's got a question about shit or need to get a house ready for FHA or whatever, we're the call, right? Yeah. So she talked about that in her brand, and I'm like, I love it. But then the part that I was like, okay, is she targets attorneys. Mm-hmm. And she used to work in that world, right? So she's like, target attorneys so you can get the probates and the stuff right away. But then she didn't like give us the tactics on how to talk to those people.
Oh.
And then I was like, what I've found the most success with is building relationships with wholesalers and realtors.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I don't even waste time with the attorney things because I get so many deals from realtors and wholesalers. And so in my mind, I'm like, that's my niche. That's what I'm going for. And so I wish she would have talked a little, like she's about brand. She's about that. And I'm like, man, you could have really targeted the whole audience had you brought that up.
Yeah. I guess I didn't. That's not what I expected she was going to talk about when she said she was going to talk about finding your niche.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I would have expected that, like, to be, like, Duplex Joe or, like...
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, my niche is single-family homes.
Right.
Or, like...
Right.
Or, like, distressed houses is your niche. Like,
Right.
I guess that's what I would have thought about.
Sure.
Not, like...
It's your marketing niche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I knew that's what she was coming to speak about, and I wanted her to speak about that because, like, I found mine. I found what I get, like, the majority of deals with.
Yeah.
And I was excited for her to share that with others. So I will say this. I think her message was I think her message was really good.
I think very beneficial to people.
Very beneficial, being the brand standard, just like Greg talked about. You got like your brand standard. I love that message. I think she could have just reached a few more people.
Yeah.
Had she been like, whatever your thing may, because the thing that's like, there's quite a few multifamily people in there. Mm-hmm. You're probably not getting a ton of multifam deals through divorces.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, you might get some here and there through the cracks, but like nothing. That is a very wholesaler-esque.
Also, an interesting thing to add to now that I'm thinking about it. So like fresh pick leads, we get the probates and whatever and like
Right.
Divorces. And Andrew was saying how it says like the attorney's names on there.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, like there actually isn't an attorney's name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like, I think it's probably the whole Eau Claire thing and people are cheap. So they just don't get an attorney.
Interesting.
Is my guess.
Sure.
'Cause yeah, I've seen them on there, but like it's probably 10, maybe 20% of them have an attorney on there.
Yeah.
So in our area, I don't think a relationship with an attorney would be as beneficial as like in the cities, like where she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've tried with a few and they've.
Well, and a couple, I mean, one of the attorneys that we use, lawyer, attorney, what's the difference?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, cool. He also does real estate. So if he's the attorney on it, why wouldn't he like want to take it himself?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right. So the next thing, what I took from her, what I took from that message, be the brand standard and build relationships for your niche so that you get word of mouth instead of having to put a bunch of marketing costs out in the world. And that's so find your like marketing niche, and that's what I did. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what we do. And so I like that message from her.
Yeah. And then are you good with Jen?
Yeah, good with Jen. Yep. Then we did a shout out to all of our sponsors. Bop, bop. Thank you, sponsors. You gangsters. I learned something from Zach.
Yeah.
Culbertson. Holy fuck. I did not know. He explained it so well. So, in some areas, there is rules on the amount you can increase a tenant's rent. There's a certain percentage. So, if you buy a property with low rents, somewhere where they have like rent, what's it called?
Subsidies or
No, it's like rent, where they manage the market rent, where you can only raise the market rent so much.
like a cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Whatever. Apparently, so insurance is the same way. So to protect the tenant, to protect the homeowner, to protect whatever, in some areas and with insurance, you can't just increase 100%. So if someone's renting for, say, $1,000 and the rent should be $2,000, you can't just throw it to $2,000. You can do a 10% a year or whatever. So that way their like cost of living isn't crazy. So apparently the same thing's going on with insurance. So right now, a lot of the insurance claims have not even been storm chaser claims. It's been more liability claims. So people falling on a property and suing because of that, slipping on a sidewalk, whatever it is, and then suing for that. So a lot of the claims have actually been liability claims, not storm claims, which we always thought it was from like storm chasers and shit. And so because of that, because these insurance companies are getting hosed, well, since they had their rate set, they can only do, a certain percentage increase on insurance. So for them, they're backing out of complete markets. So if in Zach's situation, Country Financial, they backed out of all properties 5 units and above. They backed out of because they can't raise their premiums enough to make up for the losses they're taking because of the cap that the state allows them to increase. So I thought that was very interesting because I was like, well, why wouldn't you just because in my mind, when I heard they were pulling out, I was like, well, why not just triple the price to cover that? And he's like, because we aren't allowed to.
Which makes sense.
Which makes a ton of sense. Because I was like, this
So then
now it makes sense.
So then I'm curious, like if they drop someone and then they're like, oh, but now we can take you back, but for 3 times the price.
I don't know that answer. Yeah.
They probably just want to try and recoup some money for a little bit before they start doing that.
Seriously. So that was good.
Yeah.
Lastly, we had JT. And JT was referred to us by Colin Schwartz. And JT's the man.
Dude, he was the only one that I got to watch or listen to the whole thing. I loved it. Mainly because he's just like a bro and admits that he was like dumb and didn't know what the fuck he was doing and was just like, this is what I did. Don't do that. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. And I was just like, I love that you included that because you did not need to.
Right.
But it just made it so relatable and it was beautiful.
So you loved it. What was your number one takeaway?
My number one takeaway, you can't have a system if you don't have a KPI with it.
You can't have a system if you don't have a KPI, and you can't have a KPI without accountability.
Yeah, correct.
So he said the first thing you have to do is have accountability, then you can build this. If you have accountability, then you can have your KPI, then you can have a system.
Yep.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, dude. That's true.
Yep. And then he runs his business off of EOS, which is fully based on systems and KPIs.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
So I'll probably be reading that book after the book I'm reading.
I've only been trying to get us to run the business on that for years.
I know.
I've been trying to run every business I've been a part of. I've been trying to get him to run off. And you want to know what? Someone said Austin said it the best to me. He says, "Hey, Shaun, who's the boss?" And I said, "Thanks, Austin."
Valid.
Like that's a very, very good point. Because I was talking to him about something. He's like, "Hey, could you tell me who's the boss?" And I was like, "Thank you. Good point. Yep, solid."
Honestly, do you know who the new boss is? This one.
Why?
Why? Because now our lives are gonna evolve around her.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, yeah, but she don't know how to fucking run a business.
Not yet. She don't.
She don't know what EOS is.
It's gonna be the first thing we teach her. I'm gonna read that book. She's getting traction.
I'm gonna read that book. She ain't getting lullaby. She's getting traction.
She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. She's getting traction. Anyway, sorry.
No, I think that's good. What he's saying, operating his business off EOS, I love.
I just loved it too because like he was talking about how like it's so easy like for just any system for something to just fall through the cracks because everyone is just like, oh no, so and so's in charge of it or so and so. Like he said like on their spreadsheets they literally put who is in charge of that task or like because then like you can see like, oh, this didn't get done, so and so's name is on it, so then more likely like that person's going to get that task done because their name is right there on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I love that. And my number one takeaway was the KPI. And like he talked a lot about NOI, and he said like if you walked into if he's doing a walkthrough and the people he's doing the walkthrough with don't know the NOI, don't know like net operating income, don't know what the rent they need is, don't know how much it like why they need that amount of rent, how much it costs to operate. So if they don't know how much it is like per unit to operate, like he's like, fuck you. Like you won't be working with me or whatever. Like he is so based off of the money side of things of like, hey, KPIs, key performance indicators. I want to know the metrics. I want to know that. And he said there's been multiple meetings where they don't even make it past the metric stages, the KPIs, because people will not have had them done. And he'll be like, okay, why aren't they done? Or what are they? And they won't know the actual like KPI. They won't know. And he'll be like, we're not moving on until that's answered. And I love that because it goes like, if you hold someone accountable so much where you're like, this meeting's not fucking getting done until you figure out your portion.
That's so good, dude.
It's so, dude, I mean,
So
how
good.
dumb are they? Everyone else in the meeting's gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me? We all do our KPIs. You couldn't fucking do yours because you're too lazy. Dude, what a great way to keep a good like company standard and culture.
Oh, 100%.
So I loved it, dude. You can't like, do not move on from the meeting until your base level shit is covered. I fucking love it.
Yeah, that was good.
So yeah, that was the biggest thing I took away from that for me personally where we're at. He had a lot of great shit because he's done so much so fast.
That's yeah, I think like especially in our business, like Monday, I think once we get everyone to actually start using it, it's like beautiful for that.
Right.
Because we literally put the person who's it's assigned to on there. There's some things that we like assign everyone because like we have questions, but like we don't even need to do that because in the like updates we can just tag people in it. So then like, okay, only this person is accountable for this. But if you have a question to someone else, then you can just add Shaun Tutor.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
For sure.
Because then I feel like right now things aren't getting ticked off or done because it's like, oh, we have 4 people on this one task. So who's actually responsible for it?
Right. I mean, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Okay, cool. Is there anything else you had about the event?
It was really the same. The funny thing was the same thing that happened at Saturday's event as Friday. So we have like 2 hours of networking afterwards.
Yeah. It was cleared out within an hour.
Yeah.
Barely anybody got drinks. I do get it though. It was a snowstorm.
Yes.
So people, I know, like a lot of the people in that room didn't live in Eau Claire.
Yeah, actually.
So it was interesting because a lot of that room was also not our normal crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd say 50%. 50% of the room wasn't our normal crowd, so they had to drive. And so I get it. It sucks. It's the weather. It's part of what it is, you know. Maybe we don't keep doing events in February. I don't know.
Yeah, I did have a couple people say they would be fine with April.
Yeah.
Because I was like, do you guys like having the event in February? And they're just like, oh yeah, it's not bad. And they're just like, and I was like, we're like debating bringing it back to April again. And they're like, oh yeah, like that would be.
The only issue with April, and we ran into it, when we had the event, it was the first nice weekend.
Yeah.
We got lucky that day it decided to rain. So we ended up getting like 5-10 more people that showed up. So like, well, it started raining.
Yeah. I mean, April's such a hard time because it's either going to be a snowstorm, it's going to be 80 degrees out, rainy, but there's less chance of a snowstorm in April.
Right.
And 2, then it's not like, the shitty thing about Shaun and I is like, we have 3 birthdays in January. Our anniversary's in February. Shaun's birthday is at the end of March.
Which does not matter at all.
But so it might be nice for us to have it in April anyways. Just because we have like so much going on at the beginning of the year.
Honestly, there's 2 times a year that is fucking stupid hectic for me. Beginning of the year and fall.
Those yeah, I would like it to be in April also, because January is just so much like
end of year shit.
Everything
ready for taxes.
Yeah.
Dude, January is so busy.
Yeah, January is a bad time. So yeah, April would be nice. Plus also someone mentioned how if we did in April, people are more likely to get their tax returns by then. So they're just like, so if someone's like worried about money or something, then they'd be like, oh, I got my tax return, then I'd be willing to spend $150 on this event.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
There are some things that I think we could do different.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe not even different, just I think you can target the event differently. So like if you're doing a Whiskeria drive, how we did the first 2 years,
Yeah.
you would just you would do more, it'd be like real estate 101. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be very like entry level, whatever.
Yeah.
I like what we did here. I like bringing in some like higher level people. I do like that. So I don't know. I love having the event. Okay. I love the day of the event. I love the VIP night. Hosting an event is quite a bit of energy and time. And with like a new child and then business and shit, it's hard for me to want to dedicate too much time to putting on events.
Yeah.
Especially when like we podcast twice a week. We do Whiskeria twice a month. We do so many things already that it's like hosting events is another. If we were to get a little bit bigger following,
Yeah.
I think we need to work more on getting a following. And if we had a bigger following, that would make hosting events easier because there'd be a lot less marketing.
Yeah. I do think too, like, we discussed this, I don't remember if in the last one or not, like, we've seen this in other groups too that we were a part of. Pricing is probably the hardest thing.
So hard, dude.
Because like, Rei-Con, we're still in, this was only the 3rd year. So we still haven't really even proven ourselves that like we put on a good event that is worth the money.
Right.
So like that was one thing we noticed is like quite a few people didn't want to go to like VIP because of the price.
Yeah.
And even the regular event for the price.
But then I asked everyone there, I was like, hey, was it worth the money? They're like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just because we don't like,
yeah,
people just don't not trust it, but it's a new event that there's just not a whole lot.
And we don't do a good enough job marketing it. We don't do a good enough job getting testimonials and reviews and shit like that.
So that's one thing like we've discussed with this podcast is probably hiring someone now to go through and make clips for us. And so we could even have them do that with the Rei-Con videos for us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it'd be good to have two events a year. One more entry and then one more like higher level, I think.
Entry level would be nice just because we wouldn't need like these big name people.
No, it'd be super easy. And you could do it. You could even do a few a year. It would be pretty easy. You just bang it out at different locations.
And it'd probably be like a workshop more than
It would
like,
be.
yeah. Which that would be way easier because it's just,
So easy.
yeah.
A lot, not so easy, but easier. The thing is you'd have to be strategic with your marketing because you'd have to get to a lot of people who aren't already your key demographic because you're doing it as a membership drive.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do like, different like people that are listening to Bigger Pockets in 715.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah. There's probably a lot of different ways we could advertise.
Well, I know you can do like people watching these type of videos within this zip code, and then you can target them on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube with your ads.
Even probably the radio.
Radio would be a good one. But you got to think so many like people are listening to podcasts and YouTube and shit who are thinking get into real estate. They're not spending a lot of time listening to the farm.
That's true.
So yeah, there's things that I'm learning and it's good. And I'm just trying to figure out how we want to do it.
Yeah. I like just the same with this podcast. Like I've told Shaun before, like I like that it's still just a small little fun thing for us to do.
Right.
Like we don't have a huge following. We can kind of do what we want. And same with this event, just because it is a little less stressful. We can really figure out and make it something amazing before it gets big.
Right.
So yeah.
True that. Because we've seen it, dude. We've seen bigger name people with big followings put on events that are trash. And you're like, how are you with X amount of hundreds of thousands of followers or millions of, how did you fuck this up so bad?
Yep.
Yeah. But just because you have a big following doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
100%.
And we were told that this weekend.
Yep, we
We
were.
were told that this weekend. It was very eye-opening to us. Someone we thought that was like really high up, doing really well. And we're told that they're at like a 60% fail rate.
Yeah.
And I was like, to the point where they're hemorrhaging funds, but they've got a big following so they can keep raising money. And I'm just like, yo, it's crazy, dude. It's very interesting.
Here's another key takeaway that we took from one of our speakers. Coaching's not worth it.
Coaching's not worth it. I don't know. I think coaching can be worth it. I
think it depends on your personality.
I
and,
am
like, what you
very
need.
mixed with coaching and masterminds.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful. I got coaching early on that gave me some really good pointers. They got me in the direction. They gave me some really good pointers on a lot of things. So one-to-one coaching, I'm not entirely opposed to. I think it can be really beneficial. If you get the right coaches, it can be really beneficial.
Oh, did I tell you Jen was a part of this like coaching group that got like shut down because they were like not actually giving legal advice or something? Like it was like some like
she was an attendee of it.
She was an attendee of it.
Yo.
And it was like some group that was like how to like help you start in real estate or something like that. And it was $60,000.
Yeah. Yep.
And she's like, all they really taught us was like, put out bandit signs, put out emails, blah, 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 blah. And so there's a huge lawsuit against this company. And she said she got $3,400 from the lawsuit.
Dude, I mean, part of the thing is like, don't put that kind of money into shit.
Yeah, no.
Like, you can find almost anything nowadays. I guess nowadays is different than back in the day because there wasn't these things, but like Bigger Pockets, YouTube, all that, you can learn so much
For free.
So the last thing I was gonna say about the coaching stuff is like I'm just grateful I got a mentor now, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Who I can get coffee with and we can spit some ideas back and forth and stuff. And
I think it's good to have like a person or two, or honestly, you could have 5 to like bounce ideas off of and to get feedback.
yeah,
Just because like only having your own opinion is not really the best for a lot of
right.
business decisions and whatnot. So I think like that's great. So if you can find like a coach, like a one-on-one coach where you can do that. But you always have to remember to take it with a grain of salt, or like remember your standards, remember your morals, your vision, and make sure what they're telling you is going to lead you in that direction.
That's right. I've also gotten advice from a coach that I found out later on was terrible. And I've gotten advice from a coach that I found out later on was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that it's like, I don't know if just time plays that out or if like they saw something I didn't or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I've had coaching in multiple areas where it's like, ooh, that advice panned out pretty well.
Yeah.
Or like, man, they kind of fucked me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean that you'll get that though. You'll get that. So, yes, I am a proponent of some coaching. I'm a big proponent of mentors, and I'm also a big proponent of surrounding yourself with people who are striving to do better.
Yeah, I agree.
So this is running pretty late.
Yep. This is like the longest podcast we've had in a while.
And I'm really surprised our child is still sleeping.
Yep.
All right, gang. Thanks for tuning in. We will let you know if we decide to have more events.
Yep.
Because we'll be promoting it on here.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Till next time.
See ya.